Okay, so we're going to be looking at the same type of equations. We're just going to be using a different method. So again, you've got just two equations, two lines. They're going to intersect at one point usually. So you'll have one possible solution, and your job's to find it. And again, just like in the others, the answer is going to be an ordered pair. So 1x, 1y, or 1 point, that's the answer. So it might be something like 2 comma 5 that is the answer. The answer will not be something like x equals 2. That is only half the answer. X is equal to 2, yes, but what is the y that goes with it? And so the answer would be something like 2 comma 5. So we're going to do this same problem. We're just going to use a different method now, and instead of graphing it, we're going to do it completely algebraically, so just moving x's and y's around, adding, subtracting. Okay, so we're going to break it down into 4 simple steps. Okay, so the 4 simple steps are, first, I'll start with blue, step 1. We're going to solve for one of the variables in one of the equations. I'm just going to simplify that and say solve for y. Now sometimes it might be easier to solve for x, okay, but I'm going to give you the simple baby steps first. Okay, the second step is going to be substitute into the other equation. Alright, and now the third step is going to be solve for x, and our fourth step is going to be plug it in, or plug x in, and find y. And then of course if I was going to write a fifth step, it would be write the answer, because you would not believe how many people give me half of an answer in this. And again, the answer is an ordered pair, so something like 3 comma negative 2. It is not x equals 3, it is not y equals negative 2. The answer is a point. Okay? Alright, so here we go. Let's solve this one. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with step 1. So we're going to solve for y. Now we could choose either equation. I'm going to choose this first one, and the reason is that y is all by itself in this one, so it's going to be easier to solve. Okay, so we get 2x plus y equals 5. All I do is subtract the 2x from both sides. And you could write it either way. I'm going to go ahead and write it with the x first. I always like to do that. So negative 2x plus 5. You could have written it 5 minus 2x. Alright, step 2. Substitute. So in other words, and this is really where the method gets its name, is I'm going to substitute in this negative 2x plus 5 because it's equal to y. So I'm going to substitute it in for y in the other equation. If you put it back into the first equation, you don't get any new information. Okay, so we use the first equation to get y, and now we plug it into the second. And so this is what we're going to get. We get x plus 3, and then parentheses, because where this y used to be, we're going to write in this new negative 2x plus 5. And always use parentheses, okay, so you don't forget that the 3 is multiplied by everything. Okay, and that's equal to 5. Alright, now the third step is we're going to solve for x. Alright, so we get x plus, I'm just going to distribute, so we get negative 6x plus 15 equals 5. Okay, so just combining these first two since they're like terms. So 1x plus negative 6x is negative 5x plus 15 equals 5. Subtract the 15 from both sides, and we get negative 5x equals negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 5. Oh, sorry, this is negative 10. I'm rushing, made a mistake. Okay, and so what we get is x equals, and then negative divided by a negative is a positive, so just x equals 2. All right, now do not stop there. That is only half of the answer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller. Okay, now the fourth and final step is plug it in and find y. Okay, so plugging it back in, and you could choose either equation to plug this into. In fact, we can just plug it into both right now. Let's plug it into the first one. 2, and then instead of x, we're plugging in x equals 2. And now again, we're using the first equation right now. So 2 times 2 plus y equals 5. So that's 4 plus y equals 5. Subtract the 4. And we get y equals 1. Okay, let's try that again in the second one just to make sure we did everything right. All right, so 2 for x plus 3y equals 5. Okay, minus 2, we get 3y equals 3. Divide by 3. And again, we get this same y equals 1. So our answer, our grand answer is, instead of x comma y, we know our x is 2 and our y is 1. So our answer of where these two lines intersect, even though we never graphed either line, is 2 comma negative 1. Now you will need to know all three methods. Okay, you could have graphed these two lines and found the point 2 comma 1. Now we're learning another method, called substitution, to find that same point. And we're actually going to learn a third method called elimination, which, yes, many of you have seen before. Okay, so let's do another example together. We'll just do number 2 from your homework. Okay, now I chose this second problem because it's actually easier in the first step to solve for x, and I want you to see that you can solve for either x or y. All the steps are going to be the same, except you're going to end up getting your y equals a number first, and then plugging it back in and getting x second. So just a different order. And the reason I'm doing this is because x is all by itself. So all I have to do is subtract this 2y to the other side, and I'm ready to substitute. If I were to solve for y in either of these, I'm going to have to subtract this 2x to the other side and then divide by 3 and get fractions, 14 over 3, 2/3 x. And that's going to make the whole problem a little bit uglier. You will absolutely get the same answer. It's just going to be more work. So always when you look at this, see which one's easiest to solve for. Now in this case, it's definitely the x from the first equation. All right, now I'm taking a deep breath. Let's go. Okay, so we've got x plus 2y equals 8. Okay, so I can subtract the 2y from both sides, and look, we're already done. X equals negative 2y plus 8. All right, step 2, we're going to substitute this into the other equation. So I'm going to take this negative 2y plus 8 and put it in for x because it's equal to x. Okay, so let's put it in to the other formula for x here. All right, so we've got 2 times, and instead of x, we do these parentheses, and it's negative 2y plus 8. Okay, and then we finish writing the equation. Plus 3y equals 14. All right, so distributing, we get negative 4y plus 16 plus 3y equals 14. Okay, our third step, just solve for y. Let's go. We've got, just keeping it going, let's combine our like terms here. Negative 4y plus 3y is just negative 1y, plus 16 equals 14. Okay, minus 16, and we get minus y equals minus 2. So let's divide by this negative 1, because negative y is really negative 1y. Divide both sides by negative 1, and you get y equals 2. Okay, now we can plug this back into either equation and get our x. Do not stop here, because we're only half done. All right, now let's do the first equation because it's easier. Okay, so x plus 2 times, and instead of y, I'm going to take y equals 2, equals 8. So x plus 4 equals 8. That means minus 4, we get x equals 4. So our point is, our answer is x equals 4, y equals 2, and we are done. We can always double check this, see if it works, plug it into the second equation, just to double check, okay? Over here to the right, I'll do it very small. All right, 2 times 4 plus 3 times 2. Is that equal to 14? Let's see. That's 8 plus 6. 14 equals 14. We were right. We just double checked. All right. Let's do one more problem together. I'll go nice and slow. If you think you're ready, you can go ahead and start the homework. I'm just going to do a third example for those of you who are still confused. Okay, here's one more problem. I chose this one because it's got A's and B's instead of X's and Y's. Alright, so right away I can see it's going to be easiest to solve for this A. It's already positive and there's only one of them. Alright, so number 1, let's solve for A. So A plus 4B equals 6. Subtract 4B to both sides, and we get A equals negative 4B plus 6. Alright, number 2, let's substitute it. Okay, so we're going to take this and substitute it into the second equation. So let's write it. Alright, we got 8B minus, and again in parentheses, negative 4B plus 6 equals negative 3. Alright, now anytime we have this negative out front, it's really like a negative 1, and we have to distribute the negative inside. Super common mistake. Third step is solve. So let's go solving. 8B plus 4B minus 6 equals negative 3. Alright, combining these two, we get 12B minus 6 equals negative 3 plus 6. Oh, so 12B equals 3. We're going to have a fraction here. Divide by 12, and we get B equals 1/4. Just reducing this by 3. Alright, I'll pause so you can see that. So again, we followed those same steps. We solved for one of the variables. Then once we have that, A equals this, we substitute that in for A. Okay, and that's our second step, substitute in. So we just rewrote that whole equation, 8B minus, and then we put in what A is equal to, and then equals negative 3. That's what we got here, 8B minus, and then we put this in for A, negative 3. All right, and then we went ahead and just solved that. It's one variable, one equation, and we got B equals 1/4. All right, now we just plug that back in and see what we get. Okay, we get A plus 4 times, and then 1/4. Oh, that's going to be nice. 4 times 1/4 equals 6. Okay, so we get A plus, and 4 times 1/4 is, cancel, you get 4 over 4, which is 1. Another way to think of that is what's 1/4 of 4, right? Equals 6. And so minus 1, and you get A equals 5. All right, now we're done. You could write this as A alphabetically comes first, so you could write this as 5 comma 1/4, or you could just leave it as, sorry about that, or you could leave it as A equals 5 and B equals 1/4. Okay, now we could just double check that really quick. All right, I'm just going to make this smaller. Okay, so to double check this, let's just plug this into the other equation. I already used, as you can see, I already used the first one here. A plus 4B equals 6. I already used that one. So let's plug it into the other one. All right, so 8B, and B is 1/4. And then minus A, which is 5, equals -3. Let's see. 1/4 of 8, or 8 divided by 4, is 2. Minus 5 is -3. Again, -3 equals -3. And yep, we checked it. It's right. Here's our answer written in either of these two ways. All right, good luck on your classwork.